Okay.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. So welcome today to the special meeting for LUSD Registering Commission for Monday, August 30th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. In School Board District 2 for a public input hearing to gather testimony on communities of interest. Can you remind, so I know we have some translators that can remind folks of the different language options. We can start with the Spanish reminder.
Vamos a tener la información en español para los que hablan español. Tenemos la traducción.
Si necesita traducción en español, por favor, oprime el botón que dice Interpretation, que es una forma de un globo. Y allí puede ver la opción de oír esta junta en español y recibir traducción. Gracias. So can we do the same in Mandarin?
欢迎来到今天我们这个区域划分的会议。那今天是8月30号，星期6点半钟，我们将要讨论这样一个区域划分，根据我们公众的这样一个利益来进行讨论。
Thank you. And the last in Korean.
Actually, the simultaneous interpreter already announced this. Do you want me to do this again?
Yes, if you could do it to the on here as well, that would be appreciated, Nicole.
Yes. 안녕하십니까 여러분. LAUSD 통합교육부의 그 선거구 획정에 관해서 오늘 공청회가 열리고 있고 지금 저희는 통역 서비스가 제공되고 있으니 필요하신 분은 사용해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Thank you. So now I'd like to introduce our commissioners that are here. If they could, I believe we have, quorum. So if people could both introduce themselves, who is their appointee, any brief comments, remarks, as well if there's any ex parte communications to report. My name is Luis Sanchez, Chair. I was appointed by School Board Member Monica Garcia. No ex parte communications to report. And thank you for joining us today. I would go to Vice Chair Ambriz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening.
Wait, sorry, Vice Chair. I just want to let folks, no need to translate that because now they're doing it on, we just had to remind people that they had the option to go to the other channel. Sorry about that.
No problem. My name is Andrea Ambriz. I was appointed by Los Angeles City Mayor Eric Garcetti to the Redistricting Commission. I'm really encouraged by the high number of attendees tonight and look forward to the feedback and continue to ask folks to tell others in your neighborhood about these meetings and look forward to seeing you at others in addition to tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Lundquist.
Hi, my name is Dr. Lorraine Lundquist. I'm appointed by School Board Member Scott Schmerlson in District 3. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for your patience as we get everything going here today.
Yeah, okay, sorry, Commissioner Lundquist. Andrew, can we clarify around the translation? Because I think there's
once again, for those of you that are doing consecutive, and I think Julie is coming in, but just wait to get prompted by the chair, and then the chair will ask you to make an announcement.
Shall we start it right now or wait for a moment?
No, we're starting, but Danielle's doing the simultaneous. You're doing the consecutive.
Okay.
Yeah. So just stay here until the chair asks for it.
Yeah, and you only have to translate when to remind people to go to the option available to them to hear translation on the other channel. So it's like a reminder that happens every like 10 to 15 minutes in the meeting. Okay, sorry, Commissioner Lundquist. Are we? I think we heard most of your comments there. Okay, so Commissioner Lopez-Lopez.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes, o buenas noches. Yeah, Yvette Lopez Ledesma, and I was appointed by Council President Mary Martinez, and I just appreciate you all taking time to be a part of this process this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner White.
I think that was me. So I'm Barry Waite, councilman from the city of Lomita. I am the appointee last year of Dr. Vladovic from the 7th District, and now his successor, Board Member Ortiz Franklin.
Thank you. Commissioner Gruhl?
Hi, my name is Wendy Gruhl. I am appointed by School Board Member Nick Melvoin and echo my fellow commissioners' comments about the participation tonight. We're excited to hear from you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hurtado?
Yes, I'm Gil Hurtado, council member from the city of Southgate, and I was appointed by School Board Member Jackie Goldberg. And again, thanks to everybody for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rapenny?
Good evening. I'm Heather Repenning. I was appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti, and I would also like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy calendars. I hope you will please feel free to chime in and make comments during the discussion. We love hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. Christy Hernandez. I was appointed by Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. I'm from the unincorporated East Los Angeles area. I have no ex parte communication to report, and I want to thank everyone for joining this evening. I really appreciate you all participating in this democratic process, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you.
Commissioner Dahan?
Hi, good evening, buenas noches. Ana Teresa Dahan, appointed by City Council President Nuri Martinez, and also very thankful to have such a great turnout, and thank you for your patience. Muchas gracias.
Great, Commissioner. Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you. I'm Elizabeth Johnson. I was appointed by Dr. George McKenna, representing District 1. And appreciate the fact that you've taken your time out this evening to be a part of this important process. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we could go to, let me see. I think that's all the commissioners. Okay, thank you now. So welcome again. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna review a presentation. I will provide with you an education on redistricting, the commission, and our process in 15 minutes or less. Oh, sorry, Vice Chair Brees. Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Oh, okay, sorry. So Andrew, go ahead and launch the presentation.
Sure, and I'll just remind everyone again to mute themselves throughout the presentation so we don't get any sound feedback. And with that, we'll get started.
Welcome to the LUSD Redistricting Commission's public input hearing, and thank you for attending. The LUSD Redistricting Commission is composed of 15 members, 7 appointed by each member of the LUSD Board of Education, 4 appointed by the Los Angeles City Council President, and 4 by the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles. The Commission has elected myself, Luis Sanchez as Chair, Ms. Andrea Ambriz as Vice Chair. To date, we have had 14 meetings to organize ourselves, establish our procedures and processes, and hire staff. We have also created 2 standing committees, the Outreach Committee co-chaired by Wilma Franco and Elizabeth Johnson, and the Data and Mapping Committee co-chaired by Ana Teresa Dahan and Barry Wake. The committees meet on a regular basis to discuss issues under the purview of each committee. This hearing is part of the first phase of soliciting public input in our work. There will be many other opportunities. We are committed to providing the residents of the Los Angeles Unified School District with full opportunity to participate in this process. We are holding 7 public input hearings prior to the development of any maps. Once we develop an initial map and approve it for public distribution in late September. The full commission will hold a second round of hearings during the first week of October to receive further input from the public. Our final map must be completed by October 29th. Once our map is finalized, it will then go to the City Council, which has until December 31st, 2021 to adopt the final map. We are making redistricting software and data available to the public so you may submit your own recommended maps. We also are making the information we gather available online through our commission website. redistricting2021.lacity.org/LUSD-RC, as well as providing the public the opportunity to submit testimony, comments, and maps online. We encourage all LUSD communities and stakeholders to engage in the redistricting process so that communities have equal access to political representation. How and where districts are drawn can shape a community's ability to elect representatives of their choice. Before we begin receiving your comments, the city attorney will provide a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that we are obligated to follow. That presentation will be followed by the member of our Data and Mapping Committee, who will explain the concept of communities of interest and how this information is crucial to the success of our work.
On behalf of the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, we welcome you to this public hearing of the LAUSD Redistricting Commission. Our office's role is to provide legal advice to the city, including this commission, throughout the redistricting process. We would like to take this opportunity to discuss several important laws and legal principles that apply to redistricting. The Los Angeles City Charter requires the City Council to redraw the lines for the LAUSD's 7 Board of Education districts at least once every 10 years. The Charter creates this Redistricting Commission to advise the City Council on the drawing of LAUSD Board of Education district lines. The Charter requires the Redistricting Commission to obtain public input, prepare a redistricting proposal, and present the proposal to the City Council. Several important legal criteria govern the redistricting process. The equal population principle. Board of Education districts must contain, as nearly as practicable, equal portions of the total population of the Los Angeles Unified School District. This principle is established in the City Charter and also in the United States Supreme Court's one person, one vote decisions. The United States Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. The United States Supreme Court has held that race cannot be used as the predominant factor in drawing district lines, such that traditional redistricting criteria are subordinated to the considerations of race. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Voting Rights Act prohibits voting practices which result in a denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race, color, or language minority status. Redistricting plans must be analyzed under the Voting Rights Act to ensure they do not deprive minority voters of an equal opportunity to elect representatives of their choice in violation of the Act. Traditional redistricting criteria. Federal, state, and city law have established several traditional redistricting criteria, all of which shall be considered to the extent feasible when drawing district lines. What are the traditional redistricting criteria? Contiguity. All parts of a district should connect. Compactness. Districts should be geographically compact. Existing boundaries. Districts should utilize boundaries such as geographic, street, and political boundaries and conform to high school attendance zones. Communities of interest. Districts should preserve neighborhoods and communities of people sharing common interests. More information regarding the laws governing the LAUSD's redistricting process are available on the Redistricting Commission's website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. The city attorney has just provided a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that the commission is obligated to follow in the redistricting process. As a member of the Data and Mapping Committee, I want to share with you the current LAUSD Board of Education district map adopted in 2012. There are 4 ways for the public to provide input into the commission's process. The first way is to attend a public hearing like you are doing today and tell us what you'd like to see in the map. The second way is through the public comment form on our website. The third way is to submit your map to the commission, and the rules and procedures for doing so are on the website as well. Lastly, the commission will be providing an online mapping tool to help the public draw their own maps. We will now address the concept of communities of interest. and how this type of public input is crucial to the success of the Commission's work. As the City Attorney mentioned, traditional consists of maintaining compact districts, drawing contiguous districts, observing natural boundaries, and respecting communities of interest. While the first three are easily identifiable, protecting communities of interest is typically the most objective and controversial of the traditional redistricting criteria. The concept of protecting communities of interest is to draw boundaries in a manner that preserves communities that share common interests and that should be included within a single district for purposes of their effective and fair representation. There are many types of common interests that may identify a community of interest. For example, communities may share common housing patterns, urban, rural, or suburban. Communities may share a common culture or language. Communities may be defined by their neighborhood council, or by the location of cultural, religious, or educational institutions. Communities may also be defined by the location of geographic boundaries or features, such as a city, parks, lakes, mountains or freeways, certain public services like public schools, public transit. The Los Angeles Police Department or the County Fire Department may also help define a community. The Commission will be using a wide range of information, including census data on income,
Para los que hablan español, por favor,
housing patterns, same-sex households,
oprima.
cultural and language characteristics, employment and economic patterns, health and environmental conditions, crime, schools, and other common issues. The Commission will also consider city planning maps, school attendance zone maps of the Los Angeles Unified School District, transit maps of the Los Angeles Metro, and neighborhood council maps, as well as other maps and geographic information. While all of this written information is critical to the Commission's work, so is input from the public. The Commission has prepared a public comment form on communities of interest. If you would like the Commission to consider a particular community of interest, we invite you to complete and submit a public comment form on our website. To speak at this public hearing or to submit your written comments to the Commission.
Thank you again for attending our meeting today. To contact the Commission, you can reach us by email, phone, on our website, and you can follow us on social media. Our website is located at Redistricting 2021 LA City org/LAUSD-RC. On our webpage, the Google Translate button in the upper right corner is available to translate the website into multiple languages. On our homepage, you can easily RSVP for a public hearing, join any live Zoom webinars, and provide us with public comment with the click of a button shown in the middle of the page. This website is where we will publish our draft map by the end of September, as well as the final recommended map and report to the Los Angeles City Council by the end of October. The homepage menu also allows you to access the Commission's documents and tools. Our purpose and value statements are also posted on our website, outlining the Commission's commitment to creating a transparent, equitable, and data-driven process that centers students, families, and communities. We also make available the video and audio of all of our meetings on the video audio page. On another page, you can also view the accompanying detailed minutes from previous meetings. We will post transcripts following all public hearings on our website approximately 2 weeks after each public input hearing. Under the Community Engagement section, you may view the working timeline of our Commission, which outlines the tentative schedule of our efforts and indicates the dates by which we will complete our work. The public comment page under Community Engagement is where you can RSVP for a public input hearing easily submit written comments, or you can email us at lausd.redistricting@lacity.org. Additionally, beginning in September, our online mapping tool on the Maptitude software page is where you will be able to draw suggested maps to submit to the Commission. This page also provides the rules and procedures for presenting a map to the Commission at our Commission meeting on September 15th. On the Agenda Schedule webpage, you can view all of our meeting agendas and related materials to stay updated on the Commission's work in progress. Currently, the Commission is conducting only virtual meetings following state and local guidance. We hope you visit our website at redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. And we hope you participate in future meetings with us.
We are holding 7 virtual public input hearings between August 18th and September 1st, before we begin the process of drawing and publishing a draft map. Every public input hearing will have Spanish interpretation available using the Zoom interpretation button at the bottom of your screen. We will also provide interpretation in 12 other languages if we receive a request at least 72 hours before the meeting. When providing comments in any language other than English, please pause every 2 sentences to allow your interpreter to interpret your comment back to English. Feel free to contact us by email or phone, and don't forget to check out our website and follow us on social media. Now we will move into the public comment period of the meeting. Each member of the public wishing to speak before the Commission will have up to 3 minutes. Please select the raised hand option to speak and wait to be called on. When we call on you, please state your name and the boundaries of your community of interest as an introduction to your comments. Once again, thank you for attending today's public hearing for the LUSD Redistricting Commission and for participating in this very important process.
Okay. Thank you once again for joining us. Our public comment section will now begin. I have, if I could get interpretation reminder for Spanish for participants.
Por favor, para los que están escuchando en español, oprima el botón para oír la traducción en español. Gracias.
Okay, now can we get the same in Mandarin?
那我们现在希望得到公众的一些意见。
You can the same announcement in Korean?
Yes. LA 통합교육부에서 선거구 획정위원회 주민 의견 수렴을 위한 공청회 진행 중입니다. 통역 서비스가 제공되고 있으니 한국어 채널을 선택하시면 통역 서비스 이용하실 수 있습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you. So Gladys, are we able to start public comment now?
Yes, we are. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
great.
In conformity with the Governor's Executive Order N2920, March 17, 2020, and due to concerns over COVID-19, the Los Angeles Unified School District Redistricting Commission meetings will be conducted entirely telephonically. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via Zoom webinar on the items listed on the agenda should click on the raise hand function to request to speak. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via phone on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 161-077-4991 and then press pound. press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. At this moment, we do have members of the public that would like to give public comment, and I'd like to turn it over to the city attorney for further direction for the public.
Thank you. We'd like to explain a few ground rules for public comment tonight to ensure that we have a fair and efficient process at this hearing. The commission shall provide an opportunity for members of the public to address the commission on the public input agenda item for 3 minutes per speaker, plus additional time to translate comments by non-English speakers. The presiding officer shall make every effort to notify the public at the beginning of the hearing on the time, if there are any limitations on the time available for comment at that hearing. To members of the public calling in to provide comment tonight, when it's your turn to speak, we will announce your name or the last 3 digits of your phone number or identifying information. When we announce your name or identifying information, then you are live in the meeting and it's your turn to speak. Please immediately unmute yourself. We understand that you might be listening to the broadcast of the meeting on the internet or another device. Because there's a time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, please keep one ear on your phone so that you can hear when we announce your identifying information, and you can immediately unmute yourself. Otherwise, you might think you're no longer on the line and move on to the next speaker. If you're listening to the broadcast of the meeting on the internet or another device, please also immediately turn down the volume on that other broadcast to avoid any feedback or confusion because of the time delay. Now, the purpose of tonight's meeting is to receive public input regarding communities of interest. The presiding officer may rule that a speaker is out of order if the speaker's comments are not germane to the item under consideration or are overly repetitive. If the speaker remains out of order, the presiding officer may declare the speaker is impeding the conduct of the meeting and rule the remainder of the speaker's time forfeit. Finally, I'd like to warn you, commissioners and members of the public, that some members of the public may choose to use modes of expression that are offensive or vulgar and may even include racial epithets. Some of that content is First Amendment protected, and there's little that we can do but hear it. But members of the public may choose to turn down their volume during any such comment if they choose not to listen to any such racial vulgarities or slurs. With that, I'll pass it back to the chair.
Okay, thank you, Kareet. So now, Gladys, let's begin public comment.
Yes. First caller, one moment. First caller with the last 3 digits, 106. Please unmute yourself. Please use *6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last 3 digits, 106. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
So we start.
Persona con la llamada con los últimos 3 dígitos, 106. Utilice *6 para activar el sonido.
电话号码是106。那请你按6键，然后并且打开你的这个通话。
Gladys, I would just go to the next caller, and then
Sure.
we'll go back to them. Come back to them. Yeah.
Sounds good. Caller by the name Alejandra Ortiz, can you please unmute yourself?
Good evening, buenas noches. My name is Alejandra and I'm a member of Inner City Struggle. During the past 3 months, I have been going door to door to the east side doing COVID vaccine outreach. This allowed me to interact directly with the families from East LA, City Terrace, El Sereno, and Bull Heights. I'm here today because I felt it is my responsibility to speak around what I heard while doing this work. And I want to highlight that most of the conversation that I have with the community were in Spanish. Many families in the East Side were worried about the impact that this pandemic will have on their children's education. When the pandemic hit, the East Side was one of the most impacted, from not having the infrastructure to be able to connect to virtual classes, to depend on school lunches to have something to give to their child. As I walk door to door, I love to stopping for a delicious raspados at Raspados Don Manuel in front of Evergreen Park and next to Our Lady of Talpa Church near Roosevelt High School. And part of the dynamic of the park was seeing the people enjoying time together, playing dominoes, and children came with their family to play soccer. As I knock on doors, there was a commonality as I spoke to people. They were worried about their living conditions. There were renters that live in houses not big enough for their full families, but that's what they can afford with their income. Rent is too high and unaffordable for many that hold jobs with a very low pay. I'm here representing the East Side and all of my fellow neighbors who have to work every day to ensure that they are able to provide for their families. This is the Latinx working class. I must admire the resilience and solidarity of the community members. Most people have trust issues with government, but East Side folks are always open to communicate and build the future of our community. And to help us to keep building that future is fundamental to not divide the East Side in the line drawing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 975. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Michelle Ramacos, and I'm a community resident in East Los Angeles, and I'm a youth organizer at Inner City Struggle. East LA is very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. We have to come together to fight for equitable funding in our highest need schools, as well as fighting to combat the overcrowding in East Side schools by pushing to build new schools in our communities, such as Esteban Torres High School. It is important for us to remain as a community of interest because our community has a rich cultural legacy of fighting for justice, such as the Chicano blowout, a movement fueled by students the same way our youth members have shown up today to defend their education. We need someone who represents us the way that board member Monica Garcia has been able to, as she has supported fighting for equity in our community. Most members of my community are working class immigrant communities. We are resilient and have come a long way to ensure we bring resources to our schools and communities. However, the pandemic has left devastating effects on our community. I have seen youth become caretakers or join the workforce, all while navigating virtual learning during a global pandemic, or parents, most of whom are essential workers, struggle to put food on the table or pay the bills. I urge the commission to recognize the East Side as a true community of interest and ensure the board district lines truly reflect the needs of our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Christian, please unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi, my name is Christian Cardenas. I'm a proud, I'm a proud lifelong resident of Lincoln Heights and an LAUSD graduate. I'm also a member of Inner City Struggle. The boundaries of my community of interest are the East Side, so Lincoln Heights, El Sereno, East LA, Boyle Heights, and City Terrace. I've always been very proud of my community. I live like on the South Side by Griffin Avenue Elementary, go Griffiths. I love our diversity, the amount of parks, our history of activism in our schools. My community, Lincoln Heights, we're very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, East LA. We've teamed up to fight for A through G access for new schools and much needed updates. And our people largely have the same qualities, needs, and interests. We also suffer from the same years of disinvestment. That's why having a champion like Monica Garcia consistently fight on our behalf has been so pivotal in our struggle for equity in these last few years. So our communities need to stay together, as we will need the power to choose another representative who will have our best interests at heart. We're a lot of working class families who work very hard but aren't given a fair opportunity. So please ensure that the decisions that you make today when redistricting don't further minimize our voices. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 289. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Emily Alfaro. I am a senior at Wilson High School and I am a member of the Inner City Struggle. I was originally born in City Perez but moved to Ball Heights for 2 years. My community starts at Ascot Hills to Olympic Boulevard, from Atlantic Boulevard to Soto Street. I enjoy walking the bustling streets of this first city, going into the stores and getting into the stores. Growing up, I remember visiting El Mercadito on the first street with my family. My family would always go to the restaurants to eat delicious and authentic Mexican food. While we ate, we were accompanied by mariachis who would come in and sing to the people, not for the money or fame, but for the love of their motherland. While we hear the mariachi and eat, a mural of the Rosa Guadalupe would come to our sight of vision. Together, it made such a lovely memory. I love how my community looks out for each other. We are all in the same boat, so seeing my community bonding and lending a hand to each other really brings everything together. Royal Heights is very similar to El Sereno, East LA, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. An Hispanic community with a thriving culture who welcomes everyone with open arms. We have come together to fight for the teachers' strike and fought for rent to be excused. These teachers teach the next generation of people. They had our backs, and now we have their backs. COVID impacted the income of people, and without money, people were evicted from their homes. So we decided to fight to diminish rent. It is important for us to remain as a community of interest because we have our story to tell. Our community needs a helping hand, from the newborns who have entered this world to the elderly sitting on the bench feeding the birds. When we remain as a community of interest, we remain the connection of family. We need someone to represent us the way the board member, Monica Garcia, has been able to. She has supported us by introducing the A through G requirements and also hearing our struggles and unifying our district. Most members of my community are either construction workers, small business owners, and food market sellers. These members work diligently to put food on the table and a roof on their heads for their families. We are resilient and have come a long way to ensure that we bring resources to our schools and communities. I am here representing Boyle Heights and all my fellow neighbors who have to work every day to ensure that they are able to provide for their families. My community is a working class. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 981. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
Okay, hello, my name is Doris and I am a student living in East Los Angeles. My community starts from Indiana to Gerhardt and from Washington to Cesar Chavez. First Street Burgers is my favorite spot to get some good chili cheese fries. I also like to go to Commerce to buy pet supplies. I don't go out all too much, but we do have lots of cookouts at our home, which is something I love about the culture of my community. I feel this stems from a fond nature of sharing both food and stories. When I take a look at East Los Angeles, I can see many cultural similarities to Boyle Heights, El Sereno, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. Something I have advocated alongside my community is no police at our school. I have been very involved in seeing injustice at the hands of law enforcement in our school. They receive so much funding and do nothing with it. They put my peers at danger, and I ask myself the same question over and over again. Why are they there? Why are they here? Why are they taking them funds when we could be using that money to fund equitable education and much needed resources and supplies for students? So much money goes to them. Our schools are understaffed and overcrowded. We must remain a community of interest because as a community, we are the change that is happening right now. It is important that we do not lose momentum in this critical time so that we can continue to see this change happen. It is for this reason we need to continue to have representation like Monica Garcia. She is an advocate for equity among our community and has pushed for our best interests. I am here from East Los Angeles. I am here to represent those that want to be here, but that can't be because they are working hard to make ends meet. My community is working class. My community is the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Marco Flores. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good evening. My name is Marco Flores. I'm the president of the Adams Normandy Neighborhood Association. I am an elected member of the NANDEC Neighborhood Council and an educator for 31 years in LAUSD. I'm calling on behalf of my community as the president of the Neighborhood Association because we sit in the Board District 2, and we are orphaned because the rest of our community sits in Board District 1. When we talk about natural boundaries, 10 years ago, the map was drawn so that this little sliver of CD2 of Board District 2 is on the southern side of the 10 freeway. And also when we talk about communities of interest, communities of like interests, you know, we have more in common with the West Adams community, with University Park, with South LA, with Vermont Square, and we have than we do with Boyle Heights, East LA, Lincoln Heights, El Sereno. Well, I'm asking you on behalf of my neighborhood association, which I speak for, if we can please move School Board District 2 on the northern side of the freeway and honor the natural boundary, which is the 10 freeway. I keep saying Council District because we sit in Council District 8 and the rest, you know, Council District 1 is on the other side of the freeway. It honors and respects the boundaries. Also, one of the things that we do, we are not allowed to, when we talk about our votes, our kids go to the elementary school and the middle school in Council District 1, but we don't get to vote for the board member in Council District 1. We are forced to vote for Council District 2, just because 10 years ago, somebody decided that we should go there. There's only one school on the southern side of the freeway that is in Council District 2, that is Norwood Elementary. All the rest are on the northern side. So when we talk about Vermont Elementary, 24th Street, when we talk about Norwood, 32nd Street, Weems, Mac, all those sit in our Council District 1, and that's where our kids attend. But again, we don't get to vote for those people. You know, when our kids go to Fauché Middle School, we don't get to vote for Dr. McKenna or whoever will follow him. We have to vote for Monica Garcia or whoever will follow her, which is unfair. You know, when we tried to call our board member about problems that we had at our school, we always told, well, that school is not in my district. You need to call yours. And, you know, which we don't vote for. We didn't select, and we have no voice in electing them or getting rid of them. Thank you. This is my second time with the same comments. I hope you listen to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Victoria Galvez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Mr. Chair, can we just remind speakers to slow down a little bit? Some of our interpreters are having difficulty with the speed that people are talking. So I just want to make sure that people slow down a little bit so we can get the interpretation correct.
Okay. Yeah, so as a reminder, we're getting simultaneous translation. So as you speak, please talk a little bit slower so nothing gets lost in translation on the other channels. Thank you. Go ahead.
And Chair Sanchez, for the next caller, it is asking me to promote the person to panelist, and it does not give me an opportunity to allow them to talk. What would you like me to do in that situation?
Yeah, Andrew, do you have an answer? I don't even know what's going on there.
Gladys, which individual is it?
That would be Victoria Galvez.
Yeah, so I'll just, we can put her in as a panelist and then I'll take her out after the comments.
Okay, sounds good.
So,
okay.
So Victoria should be with us now. And Gladys, why don't you ask Victoria to unmute herself so we can start our comments.
Victoria Valdez, can you please unmute yourself?
Do I start?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Victoria Galvez. I'm a student at Lincoln High School, and I'm a member of Inner City Struggles. I live in Lincoln Heights. My community starts from 110 Freeway to Valley Boulevard, and from the 5 Freeway to Mission Road. Lincoln Heights is very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, East LA, and City Terrace. We have joined together to fight for funding in our schools and for teachers' rights during our teacher strikes. Our fight for equitable funding in our schools is not over, and we need to stay together to continue to make change. This is why it's important for us to remain as a community of interest. Board member Monica Garcia has been able to represent and support us by fighting for our unique needs and as a unified people. And we need someone who will continue to represent us in this way. Most members of my community are restaurant workers and street vendors. Very commonly, you will see multiple families occupied in one household, which they rent together. As working class people, we are the definition of resilient, and we have fought for our community right to exist by advocating for future generations through funding our schools and seeking a quality, equitable education for all of us. This means better resources for our school and livable wages for our teachers that orientate the doctors and nurses of tomorrow. I'm here for the people of Lincoln Heights and all my fellow East Side neighbors who have to work every day to ensure that are able to provide for their families. I'm here for the future of our working class Brenton people and deserve to see the world that truly values them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Okay, next caller by the name Daniela Hernandez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Daniela Hernandez. Good afternoon. My name is Daniela Hernandez, and I am an LAUSD alumna and a lifelong LA resident, living in the unceded lands of the Tongva people. For the past 9 years, I've had the privilege to work with the East Side through my role with Inner City Struggle. In this time, I've worked with students from 6 high schools in Board Districts 2, spanning Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, El Sereno, LA, and City Terrace. I've also witnessed the rich culture and pride of the East Side. The Chicano moratorium and student blowouts are some of the major historical moments that have left a legacy of community organizing and continue to inspire the next generation of freedom fighters, including many of the youth organizers you've heard from today. I've had many memorable moments in the East Side. I've canvassed City Terrace with Esteban Torres youth to talk with neighbors about issues that impact our community. Many of the people I've met resemble my own family, working class, immigrant, mixed status families who want to see better opportunities. I've also had many check-ins with Roosevelt students at Arctic Hotspot and Lincoln students at Little Rodeo to talk about their personal goals, college dreams, and the types of support they need along the way. And who can forget graduation season? I know that when June comes around, I need to get to ELAC by 5 p.m. for the Garfield graduation, then drive over to El Sereno in time for the fireworks show at Wilson before 9 p.m. And yes, that's all in one day. Just as much as I've celebrated joyous occasions here, I've also seen how the community comes together during times of hardship. In 2020, I saw Mendez High School set up a COVID testing site when sites were limited in low-income communities. I saw the East LA YMCA host food distribution and PPE drives for our neighbors, many of whom lost their jobs or put their lives at risk as frontline workers. I also saw Eastside Leads organizers empower tenants about their rights. Although we are still grieving and recovering, I have solace in the fact that our community shows up for one another. This is what makes the Eastside special. We are a community of street vendors, small business owners, youth organizers, artists, and so much more. I urge that the commission recognize the Eastside as a true community of interest and ensures that board district lines and political representation reflect the needs of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Daniel, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, good afternoon, district. So my name is Daniel Jimenez, and I'm organizing with Inner City Struggle, a nonprofit organization who serves the East Side communities, including communities like Boyle Heights, El Sereno, Lincoln Heights, and Incorporated East LA. Our work has brought us together to families that live in these communities, where we have learned that there are many things that unite us. Our communities are rich in culture, foods. We are small businesses like street vendors and local stores where we can find an immense variety of colors and flavors that remind us of our childhood. We are music, murals, art, resistance, and activism. From Cesar Chavez to Boyo and First, and from Olympic to Marengo, these communities filled with beautiful, hardworking people who, for the most part, are essential workers and have to go to work every day to feed their families. Our communities are facing housing insecurities and have been deeply impacted by the pandemic. We are resilient and we have come a long way to ensure that we bring resources to school and communities. Boyle Heights is very similar to El Sereno, East LA, City Terrace, Lincoln Heights. We have come together to fight for A through G requirements in LAUSD. We fought to win the construction of new schools, and now we're continuing to fight so that equity is centered at the it's centered in the budget allocations for high and highest need communities via CENI. We continue to invest in the success of students, especially Black and Brown students, so that there are the communities in schools are safe, the students feel safe in there, and we continue to fund the school police. Today, we want to ask for all of you to join the East Side schools together, including East LA and El Sereno schools that are not already part of District Number 2. It is important for us to remain as a community of interest because our communities share similar values and demographics. We need someone who represents us the way that Board Monica Garcia has been able to. She has supported us by centering equity, uplifting the voices of those who have been the most impacted by the pandemic. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sarah Batcher， 下一个通话者，请你打开你的通话通道。
Once again, caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw, can you please unmute yourself?
下一个通话者 Sarah Batcher， 请你打开你的通话通道。
We could come back to them, Gladys. Let's go to the next.
Okay. Caller by the name Juan Carlos, can you please unmute yourself?
下一个通
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, commissioners. My name is Juan Carlos. I live in East Los Angeles. I am a student at ELAC. I grew up spending most of my childhood here in Boyle Heights at a church called Santa Isabel on Whittier and Soto. My community began from Folsom Street to Whittier Boulevard and from Indiana Street to Gerhard Avenue. My favorite places to visit are train stations and small local markets, places like Soto and Mariachi as well.
Please hold on. Can you stop public comment, please? Hold on. Because we're getting two voices going.
I have my interpretation set to English.
Julie, I think you're you're not muted.
Yeah, you need to be muted, Julie. We'll continue. Sorry, Juan.
Yes, all right. Places like Soto Station and Mariachi Plaza, as well as Indiana Station, have housed me temporarily while I was waiting to board my train to go to school or back home. Right now, you can ride the local public transport for free, but a few years ago when I had to pay for the metro, I found myself struggling to get to school or even to work when the fare was only $1.75. Lots of people here like me need this train to go to places. During my time organizing and living here, I have observed many friends, family, and acquaintances residing in small homes that they rent with many families all living in the same space. Rising unaffordable rents have made this dream of having your own space a detachment from reality. We're a people consisting of Spanish-speaking, immigrant, working-class renters, and I know far too many people that are living paycheck to paycheck, but that doesn't feel like living sometimes. This needs to change for the sake of our students and their parents. East LA is culturally similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. We're also wrestling similar issues in our schools and our neighborhoods. COVID hit us the hardest and has taken the most from us, and it is of most importance for us to remain as a community of interest in order to advocate for the future of Eastside education. We need someone who speaks up for these community concerns with the effort that board member Juana Garcia has been pushing for equity and accessible resources for our diverse community necessities. We have fought the most for funding in our schools and neighborhoods and have demanded protections for renters, which is something incredibly monumental for East Los Angeles. For years, my community has been pushing for better living conditions and an opportunity for future generations to receive that quality education. Because a quality education is a quality life, and it's the opportunity to speak for yourself, and it needs to be a necessity, not a luxury. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw, can you unmute yourself? Okay, we'll go to the next. Caller by the name Mary E. Porterfield, can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Mary Porterfield, can you please unmute yourself? Okay, we'll go to the following. Caller by the name Jessica Panduro, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Panduro, class of 2009 of Roosevelt High School, long-term resident of Boyle Heights and very proud, community organizer with Inner City Struggle. I am here representing the East Side from community members, neighbors, and family, sister, aunts, and cousins with children all over the East Side from Evergreen Elementary, Roosevelt High School, Sheridan Elementary, Wilson High School, so all through the East Side. During my time with Inner City Struggle, we have listened to the demands of our students, parents from East LA, El Sereno, City Terrace, Boyle Heights, and Lincoln Heights for quality education for the East Side. We have been able to push for equity and bring more resources into our high-need schools. This all has been possible because we have someone like Monica Garcia in the inside who pushes for equity and advocates for the community she represents, and of course, the resiliency of the East Side coming together. This pandemic highlighted the disinvestment that we had in our communities, from not having access to infrastructure to support our students. This drove us crazy when our students couldn't connect to their distance learning classes, to also not having the technology. As the Inner City Struggle, we were able to provide support to some families, but we were not able to support everyone. We saw students who had to take on after school's job to support their families, and this impacted their schoolwork dramatically. We saw older siblings becoming tutors, chefs, just looking out for their younger siblings when they also needed the support. We are the working class, where many of our community members are the essential workers with very little pay and couldn't afford to take time off to support our students during this time. Through all this, we were able to celebrate, come together, the opening of a new modernized state-of-the-art building in Roosevelt High School. This Chicano blowout inspired this movement of community coming together and demanding the quality education for the East Side. We have been able to open new schools, pass progressive ballot measures to revenue money for our schools. Our work doesn't stop here. As I mentioned, COVID impacted us highly, and there's still a lot of work to be done to protect our students and to continue to push for equity. We still need counselors, college prep courses, nurses, after-school programs, all this being pushed by East Side residents and all of our students. So that's why I come today to ask you to please join all of our East Side schools together, including those schools in East LA and El Sereno that are not currently part of District 2. So you could continue to support us in strengthening our communities and advocating for equity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Ruby Rivera, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you all so much. Hello, my name is Ruby Rivera. I'm a Southeast LA resident with roots in Boyle Heights. I have had the immense pleasure of serving youth and residents in Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, El Sereno, and East LA for over 10 years through my work with youth development organization Legacy LA, and now as a director of community organizing with Inner City Struggle. My family migrated to Boyle Heights from Ciudad Juarez in the 1970s. My parents attended Roosevelt High School, and I have beautiful memories of visiting my tita's house on Michigan and Soto throughout my childhood. Similar to that time, this community is rich with immigrant experiences, both recent and through their history for first and second generation families. Coming back to the East Side as an organizer and providing resources and programming opportunities to youth and residents, I can share what makes this community powerful and resilient. In my work, I have had the opportunity to work alongside youth and residents advocating for clean air and green space in Ramona Gardens, supporting high school graduation and college persistence among youth attending Lincoln, Wilson, and Bravo high schools, and ensuring that the East Side isn't changed through displacement and gentrification alongside tenants in the East Side as a whole. The pandemic devastated communities of color and was especially felt in the East Side. The pandemic also showed us a huge divide based on economic access. This is a community of working class renters. Many are essential workers and street vendors who did not have the privilege of safely working from home during the pandemic. Students in this community also had to rely on local organizations to address the digital divide, providing hotspots, laptops, headphones, and many other needed resources to be able to learn from home. This history of resilience, power, and community is what makes the East Side. I hope that the Commission continues to listen to testimony and experiences from local residents to learn their redistricting needs and how the East Side is a true community of interest. I urge that the Commission recognizes the East Side as a true community of interest and ensures that the board district lines and political representation reflect the needs of community. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Inner City Struggle. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, my name is Stephanie Garcia. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm an alumni of the Los Angeles Unified School District that attended Sierra Park Elementary School, El Sereno Middle School, and Anahuacalmecac High School. I was raised in El Sereno, and my community is proudly a part of the East Side of Los Angeles. For me, the East Side includes neighborhoods such as East LA, Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, and City Terrace. In my spare time, I enjoy going to the El Sereno Library to read new books, organize community events with my neighbors at the autonomous community space, the East Side Cafe, and hiking on the weekends at Ascot Hills. I was raised by my mentors of community organizers from the East Side Cafe and Inner City Struggle who encouraged me to go to college and instilled in me the value of giving back to our community. I'm here today because I want to uplift that it is important for us as El Sereno and the East Side to remain a community of interest because we come from similar backgrounds of struggle and resilience. In El Sereno, Huntington Drive, Soto Street, and North Mission Road bridge us together as immigrants, low-income, working-class, Spanish-speaking community of renters that work hard to ensure the next generation have access to equitable resources. For us, we need somebody who represents us the way Board Member Monica Garcia has been by ensuring that we support our highest needs students. I am a first-generation college graduate, and I'm now an organizer with Inner City Struggle, continuing to fight for access to higher education in my community. As Inner City Struggle, we've worked with LAUSD to find solutions in the past to address overcrowded schools, ensuring all students graduate with their A through G requirements to be college bound, and create restorative solutions to support our young people. The East Side is resilient and has come a long way to ensure that we bring resources to our schools and communities. Please ensure that we stay together as a community of interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay. We'll go to the next caller by the name Isabel. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Isabel Gonzalez. I'm an LAUSD graduate, and today I diligently work as a parent organizer at Inner City Struggle in the east side of Los Angeles to uplift community voices in the fight for equity and racial justice in their communities. Having grown up in Los Angeles all my life, I feel confident in saying that Boyle Heights is like a second home to me. Give me 1 second. As a child, it was a tradition for my family and I to visit every Sunday Evergreen Cemetery, the resting place of my grandfather. And as a family, we're united. I'm sorry, my computer keeps shutting down on me. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So, going there as a family and then visiting El Mercadito for some delicious Mexican and listening to the wonderful mariachi music that filled me with pride and joy of my identity, my family, and community. Today, I'm fortunate to work in the same community with hardworking families that value and fight to protect our community so that our other children, like myself, can discover the same joy and pride that I once did. The communities of which I am fortunate to work with and I speak of start from Indiana Street to Mission Road and Marengo to Washington and are made up of families of color from Mexico and Central America that have brought to the East Side much of their cultural traditions and values. We are resilient, and together we fight to bring resources to our schools and communities. Boyle Heights is very similar to El Sereno and Lincoln Heights. We come together to fight alongside Black Lives Matter and the teacher strike. We fight for more funding and equity in our schools and our communities. It's important for us to remain as a community of interest, as if we are truly invested in addressing historical racial disenfranchisement and provide the quality educational experience that every child deserves, regardless of race, gender, or socioeconomic background. In the East Side, we need someone who represents us the way that board member Monica Garcia has been able to. She has supported us by championing Sunny and giving voice to the particular struggles of students and working class families of color so that we can break the barriers to a higher education that for far too long communities like ours have had inequitable access to. I'm here representing Boyle Heights and the families I work with who have to work every day to ensure that they're able to provide for their families. My community is the backbone of Los Angeles, and we deserve to be placed with communities that understand and share our struggles. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Alondra Flores. Can you please unmute yourself?
This is the interpreter, Spanish interpreter. If I may make an announcement.
Go ahead.
For the English speakers, if you can please slow down so that the Spanish interpreters can translate precisely and not miss anything, any information, leave any information out. Para los que hablan español, por favor, oprima el botón para la traducción en español, para que escuchen la traducción en español. Gracias.
Thank you.
Están leyendo muy rápido.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, is this Alondra Flores?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead, proceed.
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Alondra Flores, and I've been a Boyle Heights resident for most of my life. I'm a current student at Cal State LA, and I am also a member of Inner City Struggle. So my community starts from Mission Road to Evergreen Avenue. I like to go to the events on Sundays at Mariachi Plaza. Small vendors come together and the plaza is filled with food and clothing stands. And then there's a gold line stop over there. And I like taking the gold line to go see familiars and friends on Zoto Street. But I want to add on that the gold line is very important for many students, for many LAUSD students, because they take those to transport them to go to school. So from there, they take the buses and then they go to school. I used to think Boyle Heights and East LA were the same thing, but I learned that they're not.
And it is because that they're so similar that I used to think otherwise. Places like El Sereno, Lincoln Heights, and City Terrace are also very similar and face parallel struggles both in our schools and neighborhoods. I took part in the teacher strike of 2019. Like many students who couldn't go out to hold the signs, we stayed home instead of going to school as a way to protest. When I was in school, I thought there were not enough people to talk to about mental health. Many students are at the age where they begin to feel very stressed about their school and personal lives. And the pandemic is really not making it easier, since some households are very difficult to just be in, you know. Not many students know how to cope with stress, so they just live with it until they just can't take it anymore. Then when some students try to seek help, they don't know where. There are cases where counselors are reached out about these issues, but they sometimes are, you know, it just happens. They brush them off and they don't take them seriously. The majority of people living in Boyle Heights are Hispanic, who are also a part of the working class. Lots of us live in small homes or apartments, and we have all been impacted immensely by the pandemic. Rents are soaring and our people are hurting, but we bounce back. And our resilience, we have advocated for immigrant rights and rent control, in addition to our fight for funding in local schools. Boyle Heights has a lot of hardworking people, and these hardworking people deserve equitable resources and just livelihoods. I'm here on behalf of my community that pushes so hard so that it may see the light of tomorrow. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digit 106. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, hi. Hi, my name is Gabriel Avila. I am a senior at Woodrow Wilson Senior High School and a member of Inner City Struggle. I am here today to bring awareness to the East Side community. I currently live in the city of Covina, but I grew up in the city of El Sereno from kindergarten to 10th grade. Growing up, my community started from Huntington Drive to Cesar Chavez and from Soto Street to the 710 freeway. Just thinking about Huntington Drive floods my head with memories. My mother doesn't drive, so most of the time we walked everywhere. I remember always walking to Food for Less on Huntington Drive with my mom and begging her to buy me some type of snack. Another memory I have from my childhood was when my mom would pick me up from school. We would break a sweat, and if my mom had extra money and I behaved, she would get me a raspado from a street vendor right next to my elementary school. I am involved in many programs at my school, which allows me to meet students from different communities and why I see similarities with my community to Boyle Heights, East LA, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. People from these communities work very hard to provide for their families and to keep a roof over their heads. Most people in these communities work in construction or various other types of labor-intensive jobs. I see many street vendors and local small business owners. Our community needs better rent protection because rent is no joke, and we cannot afford to displace any more community members, such as my family, who had to sell their home and relocate outside of El Sereno. It is important for the East Side to remain a community of interest because as a first-generation college student, a lot of my peers have the same needs. We need more funding and resources for our schools. If we look back to the conditions of the schools in the East Side back in 1968, I wouldn't have been college ready. It had been through organizations like ICS who involved community members in the redistricting process that have gained proper representation. Board member Monica Garcia has championed 100% graduation and implemented A through G for all. A through G made college an option for students, including myself. In conclusion, I'm here representing El Sereno and all the people who live there that have to work every day to ensure that they are able to provide for their family. I hope you take my comment into consideration and consider the East Side as a community of interest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Jasmine Garcia. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jasmine Garcia, a student at Roosevelt High School and a member of Inner City Struggle. I lived in Boyle Heights all my life. I just started my class year in a new building that I love. I like that we have a nice working AC during this heat and that the rooms are big. I know that this was the hard work of many parents and students that kept asking for better schools in my community. I think that all of the high schools deserve to have these improvements. I have two older sisters that went to Roosevelt High School, and I remember wanting to come to Roosevelt since I was in Evergreen Elementary. Now that I am here, I can't believe how beautiful this school is. My community and sister worked so hard to demand for these changes, not only a modernization, but also a wellness center we can all go to. I have met Monica Garcia as well, and she is a person that is an endless champion for the best for our schools. Many of the changes are thanks to having someone who fights for the East Side. It is important that you maintain the East Side together. I am one of the youngest cousins from many that attend in schools in the East Side, Wilson High School, Lincoln High School, El Sereno Middle School, Beverly Middle School, Torres High School, and Los Angeles Occupational Center. Join all the East Side schools together, including East LA and El Sereno schools that are not already a part of District 2. Many people in my community are working class that depend on their checks to make ends meet. They are hard workers, street vendors. My community is beautiful and we are worth fighting for to stay together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Zoom user, can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right.
You can proceed.
Hello, my name is Keeley Ortega. I am a student from Roosevelt High School in Boyle Heights, and I am a member of Inner City Struggle. My whole life, I have grown up in Boyle Heights, and I went to K through 12 public schools. I went to Euclid Elementary and Stevenson Middle School. I would print out papers that I needed to be printed out at Robert Louis Stevenson Library. One thing I enjoy doing is I like going to Starbucks on Olympic and Soto that's right across the Sears Towers. I am now a senior at Roosevelt High School, and one thing I really love about my school is the new buildings. What's pretty cool is that on the second floor of the art building, we have a balcony that only seniors are allowed to enter and hang out on. I am a senior now, and I get to finish my last year of high school in a brand new state-of-the-art campus. My freshman year, I was involved in a conversation involving the planning of Roosevelt High School modernization. My board member, Monica Garcia, is someone who really championed passing the modernization project at Roosevelt. I believe that we should remain being part of District 2 because the voices of the people in Boyle Heights get listened to. Boyle Heights is very similar to El Sereno, East LA, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. Our community has always been resistant, such as the students from the East LA 1968 walkouts. Our voices get listened to in District 2, and we have always come together to fight for a quality education. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Leonel Mares, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Is this the LA Redistricting Commission for the City of Los Angeles, including the San Fernando Valley?
Yes.
Okay. Listening to other people's comments, I live in a valley my whole life, and I attended schools at the LAUSD public schools in the valley, Northeast Valley, I should say. And I just recently graduated with my master's degree in public administration, and I've been participating in civil politics, activism, advocacy work, and I'm a strong proponent of more funding for public schools, especially for underrepresented areas, because I watch a lot of documentaries on Frontline PBS and NPR News about, I remember a quote from a lady, an educator said that zip code is destiny. Zip code is destiny because in places like Beverly Hills, Calabasas, where they have higher income, there are more wealthier areas, their education system is so much better. And I feel like the LAUSD has to do a better job of making sure schools and like in the Northeast Valley, underrepresented areas, do a better job of prepping students to become successful in the future. Because when I was in school, I struggled a lot. I was bullied, and I told my teachers and counselor and the principal, Jerry Horowitz, I remember from Bird Middle School, they didn't do enough. So and I'm I'm empathetic for students who are bullied by other students who are bullies, and they have to do better job because many of the students struggle in college because they're not properly prepared for English, writing, mathematical skills. Even though things have gotten better throughout the years, but still there's so much we need to work on. And I would like for the commission, the board, to to find ways of strengthening the school system to make it better, because some teachers don't do a really good job, in my opinion. Because growing up, I've seen some teachers are not good at their jobs, and we have to invest and do a better job of making life better for people in underrepresented areas like the Northeast Valley. Thank you. I yield the balance of my time.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name of Fabiola Argeta. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, hello. My name is Fabiola Argeta. I'm a resident of the east side of LA and an organizer with Inner City Struggle. But most importantly, I am an LAUSD alumna. I attended 4th Street Elementary School, Griffith Middle School, and Garfield High School. I was born and raised in East LA, and I still live here now. My community to me is from 3rd Street to Olympic and to Atlantic Boulevard to Indiana. I enjoy going to Boulevard Cafe for breakfast with my family. I would get croissants or tortas after high school at the snack stop that's off of Atlantic. Growing up, I would visit the East Los Angeles Library with my sister, and we would check out books and then read them at the park that it's right next to. I take public transportation everywhere, and I love the short walks that I take down Whittier. I get to listen to the music that local businesses play, see all the beautiful murals, and I enjoy the smell of the bread from the panaderias down the street. East LA is very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. We have come together to fight for our community, to receive equitable funding and resources for our schools. Our community, our residents from local high schools were all part of the Zoot Suit riots in the 40s, the Chicano blowouts in the 60s, and more recently, after the elections, in 2016, we had a solidarity march. It is important for us to remain as a community of interest because there's still so much work and so much organizing to be done to advance the quality of life in East LA. With that said, we need someone who represents us the way that board member Monica Garcia has been able to. She has supported us by advocating for equity for the East Side and bringing in resources for higher needs students. Most members of my community are predominantly low-income, first-generation or immigrant families who have blue-collar jobs. We work as street vendors or as local small business owners. They have worked every day of the pandemic in order to provide for their families, and that to me is sheer proof that we are resilient and we have come a long way to ensure that we bring resources to our community. I'm here representing East LA and all my fellow neighborhoods who have to work every day to ensure that we are able to provide for our families. My community is the working class, and I ask that you please make sure that we are put with communities of interest, because we need to make sure that we're with people who have the similar history to us and understand our culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Orlando Martinez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hello, my name is Orlando Martinez. I am a community organizer with Inner City Struggle and a lifelong resident of Boyle Heights. I am a graduate of Mendez High School, class of 2012. I remember taking walks at Hollenbeck Park, exercising at the jogging path at Evergreen Cemetery, and going to La Mascota to pick up pan dulce. My community consists of hardworking immigrants who fight to attain the life they want to lead. I'm able to witness leadership, caring, and community every day in my work. Boyle Heights is at the heart of a movement that consists of youth, parents, and other community leaders. Boyle Heights is very similar to El Sereno, East LA, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. We have united to fight for housing justice, specifically keeping our communities housed after the devastating effects of the pandemic. It is important for us to remain as a community of interest because our communities all identify with one another and have built a movement in which all of these neighborhoods are integral. We need someone who represents us the way board member Monica Garcia has been able to. She has supported us by acknowledging the voices in our community and fighting for equitable resources. Our communities are resilient and have come a long way to ensure that we bring resources to our schools and communities. I am here representing Boyle Heights and all my fellow neighbors who have to work every day to ensure that they are able to provide for their families. My community is the working class. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 914. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
If I may just step in and say thank you to the students for slowing down while they're speaking. The interpreters very much appreciate it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Juana Rodriguez, and I have lived from Boyle Heights to East Los Angeles my whole life. I am a parent and member of the Inner City Struggle. My community starts from South Los Angeles 10th Freeway to Alameda Street location, and frequent within the community are Commerce Center and Whittier Boulevard. East Los Angeles is very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, as well as Commerce City, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. A lot of the issues that I see in our school here are also prevalent at schools within the area. Growing up at school has been a struggle coming from a low-income family and to limited to no resource neighborhood. It always seemed that there was not much to do to receive guidance to the next level, depending on the age and grade. From the looks of it, kids were just being passed, causing kids to feel lost in the next grade. I continued to experience this with my kids, but from the parents' point of view, the school staff didn't seem to care to lend a hand. A lot of my neighbors have kids that range from different ages and need a lot of a need in our schools, and there is not enough funding to meet those needs. They need a lot of help. The importance of the community speaking up and showing up is very important to me, to be heard and stand up for what is right. I have been a part of the teacher strike by supporting teachers back in 2019. It was very understanding how they were trying to make a change for the better and encourage others to step up. We're resilient people, although COVID has made it harder to stay strong with soaring rents and growing disparity among our working class renting culture. I am here representing the East Side, and I ask of you to keep us longer so we can keep fighting for our conjoined interest in the name of equality, education, and a brighter future for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Davona Watson. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hello, my name is Davona and I'm a community organizer with Inner City Struggle in East Los Angeles. And I have been a member of the East LA community for the past 9 years, where I attended high school, graduated from college, and where I am also currently employed. Education has been the motivating factor for my activism. In fact, I will wake up at 4 a.m. to travel from South Central Los Angeles to Wilson High School every day. When I was a Wilson High student in 2012, my community and board members such as Monica Garcia supported me in ways such as bringing in resources for high need schools. Since 2012, I have learned to better understand the culture, community, history, and resilience of the East Side. One of my favorite outlets is walking the neighborhood and seeing the smiles of small and local business owners. And over the years, East LA has become an amazing home for me, and I enjoy organizing and connecting with local residents. As a community organizer, I've had the privilege to work with residents and come together to fight against the housing crisis and provide mental health support and increase educational equity. I hope that you all can take these things into consideration and work to continually improve the East Side and keep it united in the same district. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your comment. Caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw, can you please unmute yourself? Once again, caller by the name Sarah Bradshaw, can you please unmute yourself? Okay, by the looks of it, we do not have any more callers at the moment, Mr. Chair. Oh, we got two more. Caller by the name Ana Godoy, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Hello, my name is Anna Gadoy, and I'm the Youth Organizing Coordinator with Inner City Struggle. I have proudly been working in the East Side for the past 4 years, but my connection goes beyond that. After my parents got married in the early 80s, they rented their first apartment together in Ravenwood and began to start their family. My parents wanted their children to have a stable home, so they ventured out to be homeowners in Southgate. Despite not physically growing up in the East Side, I have memories of visiting loved ones at El General, also known as LA County Hospital, on State and Marengo, driving down Whittier Boulevard, and hearing my parents' stories of how the Sears Towers used to be. I even personally transferred my location for an internship from a hospital in Costa Mesa to White Memorial so that I could be a part of a pilot program to make sure patient care was culturally competent to community I can most relate to. Through my role as an organizer and my time with my internship, I personally have spent more time in the East Side than I do in the Southeast. I've had the privilege to work closely with East Side students from Esteban Torres High School, Garfield, Lincoln, Wilson, Mendez, and Roosevelt by building up the leadership of young people, helping them find their voices while supporting them to go to college. And let me just say, it takes a village to support students. To me, Board District 2 starts from Broadway, which turns into Huntington Drive, to the Union Pacific Railroads, and from the Los Angeles River to Garfield Avenue. I enjoy going to Don Manuel's for ice cream after my general meetings at Esteban Torres, checking in with students on the Monarca, and eating some lunch at Chili and Lime after my GMs at my general meetings at Garfield High School. To me, the East Side incorporates Boyle Heights, El Sereno, Lincoln Heights, City Terrace, and East Los Angeles because they are all very similar. In these communities, you will find predominantly Latinx, first-generation college students, undocumented or mixed status families, Spanish speakers, construction workers, and street vendors, to name a few. At the start of the year, these communities were the epicenter during the pandemic, and they are some of the hardest hit communities from COVID. Most folks in these communities were essential workers and they did not have the luxury to work from home. When school shut down, we saw a large digital divide in these communities, which impacted many students from being able to connect to distance learning. This pandemic also uplifted a lot of inequities that exist in the East Side, which is why Board District 2 must continue to include all of the East Side. The East Side has come together during the Chicano blowout to ensure school funding is distributed equitably and to defund school police to redirect those funds to ensure we uplift our students instead of feeding them to a school to prison pipeline. The road to recovery from COVID is a long one, especially for the East Side. And it's for this reason, all of the East Side must be included in Board District 2. As commissioners who draw the lines, I hope you continue to consider the East Side as a community of interest. Don't stop the movement and legacy in the East Side by drawing lines that do not see the East Side as a community of interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits.
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt here? I got a point of order.
Can we wait public comment to close? We're almost
No,
done.
that's exactly the issue, is that we're hearing the same comments over and over. If people would say that they concur with someone else's comments and then add what they have in addition to that, would make better use of their time rather than repeating the same script that other people have been reading, would be helpful.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Waite. Move on. Next speaker.
Next caller with the last 3 digits, 846. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name's Abby Ortega. I was born and raised in East LA, and I'm a youth organizer with Inner City Struggle. I grew up in East LA, where my community starts from Hazard Avenue to Cesar Chavez, Indiana Street to Whittier Boulevard. I enjoy walking to my local corner store with my brothers and friends. Growing up, I remember visiting my local community parks like El Sereno Park and City Terrace Park, where I found my passions being a cheerleader and being together with my family. I love the culture that my community brings into this world. East LA is very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. We have come together to fight for police-free schools in LAUSD and create a Black Student Achievement Plan. More schools in the East Side, which make Esteban Torres, Mendez High School, and many more other schools, and more funding to high schools in need through the Student Equity Need Index. My community is resilient. Most members of my community are full-time students, self-employed, vendors, construction workers, and more. We are resilient and have come a long way to ensure that we bring resources to our schools and communities. We want all the East Side schools together, including East LA and El Sereno schools that are not already part of BD2. I am representing East LA and all my fellow neighbors who have to work every day to ensure that they are able to provide for their families. My community is the working class. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Mr. Chair, we do not have any more public speakers at the moment.
Yeah, the person who has their hand up already spoke, right?
Correct.
We have one more public comment.
Okay. Caller by the name Margaret, please unmute yourself.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having us again with this opportunity. I know I spoke at a couple of the other redistricting meetings earlier in the week. So I did voice my concerns with the feeder schools that were in District 2 and District 5 because I reside in the East Los Angeles area of zip code 90022. And so this evening, my concern with a lot of what I was hearing, the District 2 does expand itself really into downtown Los Angeles, and the area that comes further east, some of the speakers were not really speaking on the far east, where the East Los Angeles unincorporated area is, and that is possibly where my concern is. Being in the unincorporated, as opposed to, I think Boyle Heights and El Sereno are considered in the Los Angeles city area. And so being in the unincorporated area, I believe the city line is drawn, I believe at Indiana, possibly down to Olympic. And I would just like to say that possibly, I've lived in Southgate and in Long Beach before. And I think we have a lot in common with a lot of the south of the 5 district the South 5 district. I think we have a lot more in common along the 710 freeway. So that would just be my concern, the unincorporated as opposed to some of the schools that are in the city. And that's possibly just my just my comments, that's all. And then going north up from District 2, how it divides District 5. I know there's some schools up there that possibly are also feeders from 5 into the District 2. So that would possibly be the only comment I have as right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Maria, can you please unmute yourself?
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es María Contreras. ¿Me escuchan?
Sí. Sí, la escuchamos.
Sí, gracias, muy amable. Estoy de acuerdo completamente con lo que dijo ahorita la señora Margaret. Yo estoy de acuerdo con lo que dice ella. El este de Los Ángeles está muy
I am
rezagado.
completely in agreement with what the prior speaker said.
El este de Los Ángeles está muy rezagado. Necesitamos igualdad, equidad, pero también necesitamos justicia para que todos los estudiantes tengan derecho a tener éxito y no sean rezegados. ¿Me escucha?
Yeah,
Hello?
translator, please translate. Bless.
Maybe she's on mute.
No, I'm here. I was just waiting for her to speak. I was speaking, but I guess maybe you can hear me.
No, go ahead again, because can you translate what she just said, the last couple sentences?
Can she repeat it, please?
Claro que sí. Dije que estoy totalmente de acuerdo con lo que dijo la señora Margaret acerca del este de Los Ángeles que no está incorporada. Necesitamos igualdad, equidad y justicia para todos los estudiantes.
Miss Margaret said, because the area is not incorporated.
Lo que yo he estado escuchando en los meetings que he estado asistiendo anteriormente, miro que los distritos están divididos en 2.
We are divided by 2. That's what I've been hearing.
Si se necesita que los distritos estén en uno solo para mirar si se puede mirar, aunque sea el cambio, en que haya más progreso.
As one, so that there's more progress.
Porque miro
Janet,
que
wait, Maria, perdón, nomás quiero, Janet, can you please let her say 2 sentences and then translate? Not at the same time, that way the board members could hear.
Sure.
Sigue, María.
Gracias. Estaba diciendo que los distritos, a lo que yo he estado escuchando, es que todos los distritos están divididos en 2.
What I was saying is that
me gustaría ver este mapa.
I apologize.
María, siga.
Entonces, lo que yo, sí, disculpe. Ok, como los distritos están divididos en 2, no se puede mirar un grande progreso y no se puede uno enfocar en mucho, porque si estás perteneciendo en un distrito 5 y en un distrito 2, a veces los del distrito 5 no pueden enfocarse en las pocas escuelas que quedan rezagadas, que están muy pegadas al distrito 2. Convendría más que estén en un solo distrito.
What I was saying is that the districts are divided by 2. For example, District 5 and District 2, if there is a district close by, that will not be part of the district?
Yo como madre que he estado aquí por 15 años voluntariando en las escuelas, lo que he estado escuchando también es toda la necesidad de los estudiantes. Sí, tienen mucha necesidad porque los estudiantes no son escuchados, no son entendidos y no agarran las ayudas necesarias. Y en este momento de la salud mental es cuando más lo necesitan porque se sienten incomprendidos, se sienten que nadie los apoya. Y si está todo el dinero y todas las necesidades que están ahí.
As a mother and a volunteer of 15 years, I understand that the students are in need. They are not being understood. They are not being supported.
También quiero felicitar a los de Struggle Inner porque ellos han venido y han traído mucho apoyo a nuestras escuelas, nos han dado talleres. Ellos educan mucho a nosotros los padres en cómo nosotros podemos abogar por nuestros hijos. Pero se necesita más unión en todo. No tenemos, aunque son 7 distritos y están divididos los 7 distritos, tenemos que trabajar en unión porque al fin somos uno mismo, somos Estados Unidos. Nosotros tenemos que tener a nuestros hijos educados para competir con otros estados, no con el mismo Estados Unidos, los estudiantes aquí y allá.
I am in support of the struggle program. The education, the union with the parents, we need more of. District 7 are separate. We need to unite, not only with the US, but with other countries.
Si los 7 distritos están divididos por la misma popularidad.
Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure that we're getting the translation because there's a lot that's being left out, and to make sure that those members that are not fluent, that they're capturing the comments correctly here. So María, por favor, si 2 o 3 oraciones y luego que le pueden ser la traducción, por favor.
Sí, por favor, si puede hablar un poquito más despacio.
Sí, gracias. Lo que decía era que los 7 distritos están con la misma pluralidad de personas. ¿Por qué uno se mira que progresan más que otros? Si el mismo dinero va para los mismos distritos.
What I'm saying is the 7 districts have the same population and are given the same amount of money. Why do you not see it across the board improvement with all?
Es todo mi comentario. Muchas gracias.
That's all the comments I have. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias. Thank you for your comment.
Muchas gracias por sus comentarios.
Next caller by the name Henry Perez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, how you doing? My name is Henry Perez, and I am a parent of Los Angeles Unified School District, a resident of unincorporated East Los Angeles. I just want to say that I agree with what has been said about unifying the East Side, especially the areas that are not already a part of Board District 2. It is important that we be one community of interest and not separated at the edges like we are now. The last thing that I want to say is to Commissioner Barry Waite. Mr. Waite, I did not appreciate your comments asking young people that are giving up their time, participating in a democratic process, giving their input like they have every right to. You try to silence them tonight. You should be ashamed of yourself for silencing them today. These are young people that should be encouraged to speak their mind, to give their testimony, not silenced the way that you have silenced them tonight. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if you are bothered and cannot spare your time to listen to every single person that comes with a testimony, then maybe you should not be serving on this commission. And I hope in the future public hearings, we do not hear a comment like that again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Okay, it seems like we could close public comment and go back to commissioners. I know we have a couple of hands raised. Can we start with Commissioner Hernandez, then Commissioner Rapeni, and then Commissioner Lundquist?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to take the time actually to thank everyone who joined us today, especially as your representative on this commission for Board District 2. Even though I was appointed by Los Angeles mayor, I live in the area and I can relate to a number of your public comments. And so thank you for, again, as I mentioned earlier on, thank you for participating in this democratic process. And, our future is definitely bright to see young people coming out tonight and participating, making their voice heard and organizing. That's what it's all about. And so I definitely want to thank you for taking that time. And I look forward to having you participate in future meetings. So just wanted to say that on my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Hernandez. Can I hear from Commissioner Lundquist?
I also just wanted to thank everyone who came out to speak tonight. So grateful to all of you for coming and speaking your mind, especially the students and the parents. I know you all had to wait for us a while tonight, and we're just really grateful for your comments, and thank you for caring about your community.
Thank you, Commissioner Lundquist. Commissioner Rapeni?
Sure. I just wanted to also thank everyone who took time out of their schedule to come tonight and to speak. We're here to hear all speakers. We were talking earlier about outreach and how do we get more folks involved. Obviously, there was some organizing behind the great turnout tonight, and I think personally, I'm very grateful. I know that is often what it takes. So. Really appreciating the robust turnout tonight and the comments from all the members of the community. Thank you.
Commissioner Waite.
So I wanted to clarify what I said earlier. My point wasn't that people shouldn't comment. My point was that your time is very limited. So if somebody else has already said the bulk of what you wanted to say, you can then add additional comments to that. So I'm not saying don't comment, but if somebody has said, I think we should keep this community together for these reasons, you could say, yes, I agree with that. And here's some additional information to go with that. Here's why this community is more important. So they can personalize it, add to it, and strengthen what they're saying. So, that's an important part of the process. Otherwise, if we just hear the same comment from multiple people, it doesn't give us additional information. So it's very useful when you go to a public hearing, a planning commission hearing or whatever type, you need to make sure that that you hit the core of what's being said, and then you add to what other people have already said, because otherwise your testimony, you're not getting the full benefit of your time and coming before us. So that's it. Sorry people took that wrong.
Any other comments or remarks from commissioners? Commissioner Dahan?
I also wanted to express appreciation, but I also just felt like it was important to uplift what I heard tonight, which was that there were concerns about overlaps with other districts in District 2 in the South Central area, as well as near the unincorporated East LA areas. And I know we just talked about a process in which we were going to incorporate feedback. So I just wanted to make sure we kind of uplifted that some of the edges of 2 people felt like their communities of schools and or their communities for cultural or other logistical reasons weren't feeling fully represented. And so just really wanted to appreciate the speakers who took the time to kind of uplift that, as well as appreciate the uplifting of just the beauty of the speakers who just talked about their memories and what made their community feel like a community that was also very much heard.
Thank you, Commissioner Dahan. Commissioner Hernandez?
Yeah, I just want to chime in again, and sorry for making this a little bit longer, but to say I also did appreciate those stories as a LUSD alumna and a graduate of Griffith Middle School and Garfield High School. I really did appreciate being able to hear from students in the area that I born and raised and currently reside in. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hernandez. So seems like if we have no more comments from commissioners, I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Thank you for all the
Bye,
folks who came
everyone.
out and spoke tonight.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good night.